Welcome back, everybody. We have an exciting panel discussion with Olga from EZDRM, Danny Bates from Stars Play Arabia, and Mr. Haytham Al-Khatiri from Abu Dhabi Media for the discussion on sport content going into OTT. So this panel will be moderated by Sanjay Raina. Sanjay, over to you.
Thank you so much. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. A pleasure to be in touch with you once again. I know most of you guys very well, so that should be quite easy for a discussion. First and foremost, let's start with the lady. Olga, welcome. You run EZDRM, and we will get to know more about what you guys do and how you are adding value to the whole sector of piracy and anti-piracy, that means, and data protection and so on. My friend Danny, you've been spearheading a very brilliant initiative in the region, Stars Play. We've been so proud of the work that you guys have done in the last 4 or 5 years, and we will talk more about your initiatives going forward, especially related to sports. And of course, somebody I know for a very long time, Mr. Haytham from Abu Dhabi Media. Congratulations on your new role, if I'm supposed to say so, as the Executive Director for Television at Abu Dhabi Media. Clearly a very, very important role. And then let's start with you, Haytham. Considering you are on the hot seat, so I will start with you. So Haytham, tell me, what has been your strategy, especially on sports, as you have taken over the mantle, and what do you think is sports doing to your business?
I think as you are aware, Sanjay, that the sport is the most effective rights that we have in Abu Dhabi Media, and we have a lot of content in the sport channel, and we have a very solid anchor and staff based in Abu Dhabi Media. Regarding our strategy, as you know, that we would like to explore our content, and we start having a deal with Stars Play. We start with UFC, as you know, we have a UFC, and now we start with them also AFC. So we would like to have a more base in our van, and as you know, the sports for Abu Dhabi Media, it's very important area and content that we are working.
Hello. Yeah. Did we miss you there, or that's about it?
That's it. And regarding what we are thinking and what our strategy, now we will keep our same. We have now the OTT. We start SVOD. We don't have SVOD modem placed in Abu Dhabi Media, and we start our relation with the Stars Play. But to be honest, now we will keep our channels as it is, but we will shift all the encrypted model to the Stars Play.
Perfect. Well, that's a good strategy to start with. Yeah, till you find your own bearings. Danny, coming over to you. I remember when you guys started, it was a lot of entertainment. You guys have now gradually started looking at sports rights, especially sports rights of others, and then kind of streaming them on your platform. And of course, digressing a little bit, you guys are also, producing your own original content and so on. How is sports adding value to you? Give me some examples. What has it done to the platform? Especially, I know UFC and AFC, the 2 deals that you guys have done.
Yeah, I think sports has added value in a number of ways, sort of, to the platform. I think there's 2-3 key examples I kind of share around that. Number one is, the month that we added UFC back in January 21, and we added the AFC content in September 21. We saw sign-up volumes in line with what we saw at a COVID peak back in April 20. So that kind of impact on incremental volumes was very, very clear from the start. So pretty much a 50% increase in new customers coming to the platform when we added UFC and when we added AFC. So number one is that increased volume, that 50% increase in volumes. I think secondly as well, it's the amount of organic traffic that it brings to the platform as well. So in the OTT business, as you're aware, Sanjay, the ARPU, the price per month is relatively low. So optimizing things like your cost of acquisition becomes very, very key. So when you have events, like in January, we had the first McGregor-Poirier fights. When we were lucky enough in September to have, the UAE national games against Lebanon and Syria, the organic traffic that brings to the platform, where we have no acquisition cost and very high volumes, has a really sort of positive impact on our economics per subscriber. So that was another real tangible impact for us of bringing sport onto the platform. And I think thirdly, it's the consumption patterns that you see from these customers as well. Their engagement with the platform that's very, very key. When we look at the content on Abu Dhabi Sports Asia 1 and 2, this content really draws the customer in. We see very high view times from the customers that have that Abu Dhabi Sports Asia product on the platform. So I think, that engagement for any OTT platform, when you're trying to, give that customer a reason each month to come back and pay for your product is very, very key. So I think, sport has that kind of unique draw. When you have that exclusivity, you have that live event, that kind of organic pull of sport is very, very powerful.
Wonderful, wonderful. And I'm sure it's adding value to you and the platform together in terms of minutes per subscriber consumed and so on and so forth. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah.
Olga, all the way from New York, is a DRM now clearly something that is very, very critical in the pay TV business. How are you guys helping pay TV stroke OTT platforms, data protect themselves? And what are some of the anti-piracy measures you're taking? I'm bundling a lot of questions together for the lack of time. Thirdly, Middle East, North Africa region is blighted with piracy. Is there any specific initiative that you guys are taking in this part of the world?
Sanjay, thank you very much for having me all the way from New York, as you mentioned. And so a lot of questions you asked. Let's start somewhere. So you said that you asked about the various challenges and what we're doing. Well, we see piracy as a two-part thing, whereas there's flat out theft. If you're streaming unprotected content, anybody who can get access to it, to the stream, can just consume it, share it with friends, and do whatever they want to do with it. And then, of course, they can rebroadcast it. And if they get they buy access to a stream honestly and legally, and then they can rebroadcast a high quality video if it's not protected at all. So we, as a hosted DRM service, what we're doing is, we're offering DRM, which allows content owners and rights holders to protect the stream and then control who gets access to it, who has the right to view it, thus cutting down a huge amount of piracy. And as far as dealing with countries that have blanketed piracy, have piracy everywhere, I think part of it is figuring out why there is piracy, and addressing those issues, not blatantly fighting piracy as a whole, but figuring out what the issue is. Is it too expensive? Is it too hard to get your hands on? What's the reason? If there's, there are people who pride themselves on finding high quality pirated content, you can't really, it's kind of much harder to fight that mentality. But if the issue is it's too expensive because rights holders are trying to raise prices to offset piracy, then applying security and dropping prices down would allow people to actually get access to it much easier. I came across piracy that has to do with geographic reasons. When we travel, when we go back to traveling, being able to access the game you want to watch in a completely different geographic region, you can't. because you don't, I mean, I understand, you know, there are rights that say that this game can only be streamed in this specific geographic region. Once you travel out of that region, you can't watch it. I'm a hockey person. Why can't I watch a Rangers game while I'm traveling? I am a New York resident and I pay for my subscription in New York. Why can't I view it? It's one of those things that maybe needs to be addressed more in the global issue of figuring out rights and figuring out how consumers want to watch content, as opposed to how businesses want to stream it. As we did a survey recently, and we came across a big gap in how consumers want to consume the content and how businesses are actually offering it, to the point where we asked the question, the same exact question, how, you know, if you're traveling, do you want to have access to your content? And everybody says yes. And then on the flip side, everybody said, but for my business, we want more geo-blocking, which kind of makes no sense. And it's things like that.
Yeah,
it's things like that. If you start to address those things, you might start to be able to cut down on piracy.
That's right. Wonderful, wonderful. I'll come back to you. It's a very interesting topic, and I have also personally worked a lot looking at this whole anti-piracy measures, and it's very, very interesting. Haytham, my friend, I would like to know, I mean, from Abu Dhabi Media's perspective, large organization, lots of resources spent on acquiring content. What is your next sports strategy? I know you have rights to UFC in the region, you have rights to AFC, and you have a few football leagues. But do you think this is mainframe football, mainframe sports? What is the strategy going forward? If you can share some bit with us.
I think we want to jump really in the international rights, but it depends, you know, that the number, and there is a lot of elements there. You know, the number of the rights now in the international level, it's very high. But I think now when all the businesses shift in the OTT, maybe now we will have a strategy that to bring on the right owner to be with us, as maybe we would like to have this operating model, to have Abu Dhabi Media or Abu Dhabi Sport to be the production hub for all these rights, and to have their own productions, and Stars Play to be our platform, and what's his name, and the rights owner to be part of this business model, you know. So and that operating model, I think it will be fair for three of us. But if you see the numbers now, it's very, very high, and the winner here, it's only the owner of that right. But I think with the OTT and with this digital environment and the new world of the strong relationship between the three partners, I think really we'll have a share of revenue, and we will have a good thing. But we start now to produce with our partner in e-gaming. We start to do e-sport, and we are supporting Abu Dhabi Esport Hub. You are familiar with this and what is going on, and we will start to broadcast a content especially for esports, and to broadcast that event in our screen or in our platform.
Wonderful. So are you saying, Haytham, that your relationship with Stars Play is a long-term relationship and it goes beyond UFC, AFC?
Sure. It will be. We have a long. Inshallah, we will have. You know that we are working in the entertainment level. We are working also now in the sport, and I think we will have a co-production in some entertainment content, and also maybe we will in the future we will join to own some rights from the international market.
So per se, no plans of your own OTT as of now?
we have we don't have we don't have we have the OTT, we have our OTT, but it's a vote. But the SVOD, I think with the experience of Stars Play, and already they have a band and they have a number of customer live, and they invest heavily in the past in their marketing, in the brand marketing. I think to be joined and partner in the long term, this is the best strategy for us.
Perfect, perfect,
It's
perfect.
one
Wonderful.
in the end,
Wonderful, wonderful. Well, I know I was partly involved in one of the strategies, so I know how beautifully it works for both of you. Danny, the man on the spot, tell me about sports and OTT. I know world over, there aren't many experiments happening. There is DAZN, which is doing some bit. Of course, ESPN Plus in America, primarily because they were losing their cable subscribers and they moved a lot to OTT, and hence that degrowth has been arrested. So primarily a global OTT player in sports is yet to emerge. Probably DAZN is there, but they're largely focusing on boxing. In the Middle East and North Africa region, we know, I mean, of course, there are various diasporas, but largely people watch soccer. Don't you think that a mainframe soccer league will add diametrically different value to this relationship on OTT with sports? Or do you think niche sports is the way to go?
But I think Haytham kind of touched on this point as well. I think it comes down to economics at the end of the day, you know? So I think having one of the international leagues on the platform would be amazing. You know, we'd all love to have one of those leagues on the platform. And I think we're all kind of aware of the impact that can have, you know, seeing the impact AFC had, you know, the impact that one of those large leagues can have on a platform will be tremendous. But it needs to be economic numbers that make kind of sense for the business as well. You know, it's no good just adding rights and you're making huge losses every year. You know, it's just not practical in the long term to operate in that way. So, you know, as Haytham said, I think we're trying to approach the model a bit differently with partners. And instead of partners just expecting everyone to put down huge minimum guarantees and take all the risk, we're trying to work more on a model where there's a revenue share between the partners. So there's, you know, okay, there's no MG, but there's also an upside potential for the partner beyond what they may usually expect to see. So I think this is kind of how we're trying to, you know, bring the model together to distribute the sport into the region. And we hope in the future someday that, you know, we will bring one of those partners on board in one of those major leagues. You know, I think, you know, when Haytham and I talk, the long-term kind of vision that we'd like to see is kind of that Abu Dhabi sports package of content available on the service. You know, it can be a combination of soccer, it could be tennis, could be boxing, other sports, but you kind of bring together a sports package offering for our consumers. And that in line with an entertainment pack that we already have today. We have an entertainment pack, we'd have a sports package and kind of a rounded consumer offering for customers. So I think that's kind of the long-term vision. That said, I don't want to also discount some of the other sports either. You know, we're going to be launching, really kind of happy to do this on October the 17th. We have the Cricket World Cup going to be live.
I was about to ask you that. Is it official? Are you announcing it?
Yeah, the press release will go out today, actually. So you have the story first, Sanjay, kind of on the panel today. But
well, I'm a cricket player, so I know the story much before.
Yeah, you know the story pretty well. So yeah, so we, you know, the Asian diaspora, extremely important diaspora in the region, as you know. So really kind of happy and proud to bring the Cricket World Cup to the platform. And this is where I think the power of OTT comes in. You know, whereas in the past, maybe cricket has sat on satellite. So it's really limited the access of people to that platform. They needed to buy
you needed a box. Yeah,
you needed a box. It was a very high price, very difficult to access. Whereas what we've been able to do with OTT is we will have a day pass so that, you know, anyone, any demographic has access to the product. They can pay 5 dirhams, 5 riyals for a day pass and access our service via OTT without the need for a set-top box. So I think, you know, OTT is really changing, you know, particularly for cricket as such, the accessibility to the product for a wider range of the market and really changing that price point for them as well.
So I'll come back to cricket, and that's very interesting. And I wish we had more time, because that's a game we all Asians play, and
Yeah.
and the Brits like you. And we had a great series, India versus England, recently. So
Yeah,
so
no need to dwell on that, Sanjay. Luckily, we don't have time. But yeah.
So I'll come back to you on cricket. I'll go to Olga first. Olga, I have a very interesting question to ask you. These are, again, I keep bundling my questions. So 2 questions to you. One, are there any partners you are working in Middle East and North Africa? That is one. And second, why on earth does piracy always stand ahead of anti-piracy? If you understand what I'm trying to say. Why is it? I know that keeps companies like you in the job and in the fray, and that's what should happen. But why aren't we finding a conclusive solution that kind of curtails piracy by a much larger percentage than what we are seeing currently? Why is there always a challenge that piracy keeps surmounting and raising its ugly head?
Well, I think part of it, let's start with the piracy part of it. I think part of the issue is at some point being able to access content or being able to access what you watch. You just asked a question about niche sports and niche services. Well, if I want to watch cricket, soccer, hockey, and I don't know, let's pick another sport, volleyball, and they're all on 3 different or 4 different, completely different streaming services, and I have to pay a monthly subscription to all of that, that just becomes financially unreasonable. So if there's a place where I can go and say, hey, I want to watch just this game, I'm going to pay for it, something reasonable, just watch the one game I want to watch, as opposed to having to pay a monthly fee to watch all of this. Just like Danny said, having a day pass to watch just what you want to watch, that makes it easier. I mean, there's of course always the challenge of somebody going, why should I pay for this? I'd rather spend 3 days figuring out how to hack this and then tell my friends I hacked it. So there's a lot of reasons, but I feel like it's the same thing in any cybersecurity situation. Unfortunately, we're playing a game of whack-a-mole where people just keep on coming up with different reasons for piracy. But I do think a lot of it has to do with just being able to access the content where you want it, how you want it. And if it's economically non-feasible, then that's one thing. The other thing that I think is happening is there has to be a certain level of education. I always pick on my mother because we had a conversation about the fact that she's using a streaming service that has everything. I'm like, Mom, that's not possible. They can't have everything. It's not legal. She goes, but what do you mean? I don't understand. So we had an education moment where I explained that there's no way you can watch Russian content, American content, Spanish content, and German content, all brand new, all on one service. It just doesn't work that way. So once she understood that, she's like, oh, so I am paying money to a fake service. She didn't realize. I think part of it is also some level of education of the public that has to happen, because people don't know there's a lot of services that pretend to be very good streaming services, sell boxes, sell people stuff, and are basically selling pirated content. And the other part of it, I think, is just the cost of rights. We have countries or clients in the former Soviet Union that just can't afford what the majors are charging. So I know of companies that, not our clients, because obviously they're not using DRM, but I know of companies and major broadcasters all over the world that basically have somebody who's sitting on torrent sites and looking for good content to stream on their official government channels. All of those issues have to be addressed. And as far as the partner question, if you're implying about a specific client, then currently we do not have a client in the MENA region. Most of our clients are, well, actually everywhere else except for the MENA region. So I would like to introduce our company as part of this panel. But as far as integration partners, we do work with, we are a cloud service. So we do work with any and every company that has a standards-based DRM support service. So if you are an encoding company that has DRM technologies integrated into it, or if you're a player company that knows how to handle DRM, we could work with those partners very easily. And easy, we named our company Easy DRM because it is really that easy to integrate into our services. They're pretty straightforward.
Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you. Haytham, probably one of the last questions to you. I remember Abu Dhabi Media used to be the home of English Premier League during your pay TV days. Would we see any such big news coming very, very soon from your side?
Inshallah. We will try our best.
Well, the word inshallah says it all. Thank you. Danny, coming back, cricket, what is your vision? What kind of subscriber numbers do you think in terms of percentages? I know hard numbers are difficult to kind of gauge, but what percentage do you think will additionally come onto the site?
Look, I mean, for the cricket, particularly the way that we're distributing with the day pass, so we're working very closely with our telecom partners as well, so that we can SMS the customer for them to opt in for the day pass via the SMS service. So it's a very, very easy sign-up process for customers to be able to access it. So, we have various sort of ideas of what that could be, but I suppose the best indication I can share with you without giving sort of direct numbers away is we are really gearing up for the number of concurrent streams that we need to be able to serve for the cricket, so as you're aware, there's 11 million people in Asian diaspora in the region. Cricket, this event is their Football World Cup. Football World Cup is not the event. This is the event that really matters. So it wouldn't be unrealistic to expect there could be days where there's 500,000 concurrent streams. India, Pakistan on the 24th of October. I don't think it's unrealistic to expect we see 500,000 customers concurrently streaming the content that day.
Absolutely.
So those are kind of some of the volumes we're kind of gearing up for and getting ready for that event.
Wonderful. I wish you
trying to make it extremely. I think the thing we're trying to do there, Sanjay, is make it extremely accessible, very easy to use the product, and very easy to kind of access and affordable to pay for the product.
Perfect. And is your pricing ready? What is it going to cost a customer? If I missed it, I'm sorry.
Yeah, no worries. So if you want a monthly tournament pass for the whole tournament, is 99 dirhams or 99 riyals if you're in Saudi. The day pass that gets you access to whichever day you're buying, the events of that day, that pass is 5 dirhams or 5 riyals.
Wonderful.
So
you mean to say an India versus Pakistan match can be watched for 5 dirhams?
It can indeed, yes.
Amazing. Now that's real access to cricket, and I wish you the very best. I'm very sure it will reach multiple millions of people who are watching cricket in the region. That's
well, we're kind of hoping, not wishing England bad luck, but we're kind of hoping for an India-Pakistan final. Oh. Commercially, that would definitely be a very good thing. So
I can assure you all the roads in Dubai will be chock-a-block to watch that match, and no tickets available.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I mean, this is the other great thing about this Cricket World Cup. Obviously, it's in UAE and Oman. So the time zones are perfect. The local interest story is there. So, this also brings an added color, if you like, to this event for us.
I have tons of questions, but I know paucity of time. One last question to you, Danny. I know you experimented first with UFC. How has boxing worked? Or that's contact sports MMA. Is boxing on the annual? Is something like boxing very interesting to you?
Yeah, absolutely. Actually, we have, part of our challenge is time right now. Football and cricket has kind of been the priority, but we have a partner actually that we worked with on an event last year when there was a live fight in Saudi, the Joshua fight in Saudi. So we did do something with that partner around 12 months ago. We've worked with them on some events on the wholesale side during the last 12 months. And it's definitely something that we'd like to do. There's some big, other than Joshua lost the other day and kind of messed up the Fury Joshua fight, but there's some big fights to come over the next 12 months. And if there's a way that we can kind of bring that to a sports offering, I think we'd love to do that, find a way to make that happen.
Wonderful, wonderful. I think that brings me to literally a culmination of this wonderful panel. It's amazing that we have a platform that is aggregating. We have a very large media organization that is going out and buying stuff and kind of co-developing along with Stars Play. And as I say, we have a lady with a stick so that nobody pirates and we get all the right feeds and all the clean feeds. And hopefully, Olga, I wish you very best for netting some clients. The two of them on the screen certainly can be your potential clients at some point of time. There are some questions to Olga, but I think, Olga, you could answer them. What is the input regarding piracy based on political factors? Now, I know that can get very messy, but I don't know whether that's a question you would like to answer or not.
No, I can absolutely take that. I'm not quite sure exactly what input regarding piracy means, but I think I'm guessing. And yes, I will absolutely say that there are different regions with you get more piracy here and there, but there's also a lot of different, you get different aspects of piracy in different, I guess, commercial lines as well as you get piracy based on interests. We came across, and also based on what's going on in general in the world. Like we came across the fact that when the pandemic started, at least on the US side, people were watching movies that had to deal with pandemic and global scary things. And then shortly thereafter, when people got tired and actually scared of it, they started to watch Harry Potter because that was comfortable and more of a, you know, fairy tale and got them out of the pandemic stuff. And then we see that and that was basically across the whole world. People pirate things based on accessibility. If you can't get access to the content, you pirate it. And it really has no political ramifications or factors to it. And I keep talking about it, that we just need to, or companies just need to figure out why people pirate. I came across a story from one of our partners that talked about the fact that in certain countries, and only in certain countries, Queen's Gambit, the Netflix show, was being pirated because people like chess. It was Turkey and Russia. Nowhere else was it as popular as Turkey and Russia because of an interest in chess. So I don't think it's more of a political thing, but it's more of a, we want to see this content, we don't have access to it, so where do we find it?
Well, I think you raised
I'm sorry, if you can find it easily and financially acceptable on a proper paid service, people will most likely pay for it. You just have to think about, like in the US, I don't have a problem entering my credit card into a website and off I go. Whereas in a lot of other places, you can't. That's not a normal thing. So thinking about a payment system that's easy and like makes sense, be it through your cell phone provider or whatever else works, is how it has to, you know, that's what should address it.
Sure. I think you raised a very important, you in fact touched on a very important point. Why do people pirate? And I have always held this view that if I have to watch a game of soccer or cricket, and for that I have to have a $60 pay package, I will pirate. I mean, not me personally, but I'm just talking of an individual. And to what Danny said, that they have a day pass, which OTT allows you so well, which in fact traditional pay TV players always struggle to do because of the fear of ARPU. That gives you an amazing access to content at cheap pricing, and you know the day pass can really make it worthwhile, and you don't really need to go around looking for torrent links because it's all legally available and all on your device. Thank you so much, Olga, Danny, my friend Haitham. I think this has been fabulous. I wish you guys the very best going ahead. The pandemic thing has actually given a new direction to a lot of pay TV opportunities, and I'm sure all of you guys will achieve large successes in your individual fields. Thank you so much for being on the panel today. Thank you.
Thank you, Sanjay.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot. Bye.